Welcome to This Explainer. Honestly, I am so thrilled you're here today. We're going to look way past the flashing neon lights, the ringing slot machines, and those exclusive velvet ropes of the casino floor. Instead, we're unpacking the actual mechanics, the hidden risks, and the foundational business models of the global casinos and gaming industry. And we'll be doing this specifically through the lens of the SICS, which is the Sustainable Industry Classification System. So get ready, because the way this industry actually operates behind the scenes, it is absolutely fascinating.
Let's start by looking at what actually makes up this industry, because the business models are, well, they're pretty fragmented. We've got traditional brick-and-mortar casinos, riverboat casinos, racetracks, and of course, a rapidly growing global sector of online gambling sites, often called iGaming. But here's the kicker. Whether an operator is running a massive physical mega-resort or a purely digital online platform, every single one of them shares one massive, universal operational hurdle.
So, the crucial point here is this exact quote pulled directly from the SASB standards document: intense regulatory oversight, which is the main barrier to entry for new operators. That right there, that's the core thesis of our explainer today. Surviving and actually thriving in this industry isn't just about offering the best games or the biggest jackpots. No, it's about mastering highly complex global compliance.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with a quick look at the casino business model itself. Then we'll break down 4 major regulatory pillars every operator has to navigate: managing massive energy consumption, the responsible gaming imperative, the smoke-free casino debate, and finally, stopping money laundering.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1, the casino business model, SICS and sustainability. So, how do casinos actually function under the intense scrutiny of these global sustainability standards boards? Well, it all comes down to meticulously tracking risk. The SASB standards, which are now under the IFRS Foundation, basically provide the framework that these companies use to disclose sustainability-related risks to their investors. This really proves that industry regulation isn't just a set of vague, feel-good guidelines. It is tracked through strict, quantitative metrics. And why does this matter to you or me? Because these risks directly affect a casino's cash flows, its access to finance, and its cost of capital. Basically, operators have to mathematically prove they are a safe bet.
Moving on to Section 2, managing massive energy consumption and operational realities. Just picture a classic casino floor in your head. They are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And they famously have, very few windows, if any. Because of that around-the-clock operation, regulators literally require casinos to report their energy use with extreme precision. They have to disclose their total energy consumed as this giant aggregate figure in gigajoules. But they don't stop there. They also have to track the exact split between the percentage of purchased grid electricity and the percentage of renewable energy they use. Think things like geothermal, wind, or solar power.
And this really brilliantly illustrates the why behind all this regulation. The heavy reliance on mechanical systems for heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and of course that constant lighting means casinos consume absolutely massive amounts of power. If they source this energy from fossil fuels, it contributes heavily to climate change and pollution. Those are environmental risks that could directly disrupt a casino's financial operations and its standing with regulators. So managing energy isn't just about being good to the earth, it's absolutely essential for the survival of the business itself.
Next up, Section 3, the responsible gaming imperative and industry best practices.
Now, while the main purpose of gambling is obviously entertainment, operators face intense global scrutiny regarding progressive addictions. Regulators actually recognize a very critical distinction here: pathological gambling, which is a progressive addiction characterized by an increasing preoccupation with gambling, versus problem gambling, which is considered a less severe form. The standards explicitly note that while casinos don't actually cause the problem, they do provide the opportunity for it. And more importantly, they might earn disproportionately greater revenue from these specific gamblers. If a casino fails to manage this risk through industry best practices, they risk severe damage to their reputation and could even lose their license to operate. So how do they actually prove they're being responsible? Well, it depends entirely on their business model. Physical gaming facilities have to disclose the percentage of their venues, sorted by revenue, that implement the responsible gambling standards and criteria. On the flip side, online gaming operations, or iGaming, must track their compliance against specific Responsible Gambling Council, or RGC criteria, built specifically for online platforms. And for iGaming, this metric is tracked based on active online customers. That basically means users who have made at least one real currency transaction, like a bet or a deposit, during the reporting period. So the compliance rules literally shift depending on where the bet is placed.
All right, moving to Section 4, the smoke-free casino debate and the health environment. This touches on the physical health, environment, and air quality of the gaming floor, which is still a massive issue for traditional brick-and-mortar locations. And this brilliantly illustrates a core business conflict. See, while a lot of regions have enacted broad public smoking bans, many casinos have somehow remained exempt. The risk? If casinos ban smoking, they fear losing a significant chunk of revenue from smoking patrons. But the opportunity? Banning it could attract more non-smoking patrons, and crucially, it would protect staff health. Studies actually show that casino dealers exposed to secondhand smoke have higher than average rates of respiratory illness. Because of these very real health risks, operators can't just guess their exposure, they have to measure it down to the exact footprint. Metric SVCA 328.1 requires casinos to meticulously calculate and then disclose the exact percentage of their gaming floor area where smoking is permitted. And to classify an area as non-smoking, it's not just an honor system, guys. It has to be clearly marked, actively monitored for violations, and ventilated entirely separately from the smoking areas. No cutting corners.
But it's not just about the square meterage. Regulation also strictly tracks human exposure. Metric SVCA 328.2 forces casinos to report the exact percentage of staff man-hours worked in these smoking-permitted areas. Regulators want to know exactly how much time the dealers, the cashiers, and the security personnel are spending in environments with compromised air quality.
Finally, we arrive at Section 5, stopping money laundering and internal controls.
This is perhaps the most critical and heavily scrutinized operational pillar of them all, focusing strictly on the prevention of financial crime. I mean, think about it. How do you manage money laundering when millions in cash move daily with high customer anonymity? The sheer volume of transactions and the easy accessibility to multiple facilities make casinos highly attractive to criminals seeking to disguise illicit funds. If operators fail to detect and prevent this, the consequences are incredibly severe. We are talking about criminal prosecutions, massive monetary losses, huge fines, and crippling civil judgments.
Now, what's really interesting about this next point is how the SASB standard actually proves the clinical, highly structured nature of tracking these policies. They use meticulous categorization of topics, metrics, categories, and codes. Regulators don't just want a handshake and a promise that a casino is behaving. They demand a rigorous discussion and analysis of anti-money laundering policies alongside hard, quantitative data on any monetary losses resulting from legal proceedings. It's strictly by the numbers.
To ensure the money stays clean, casinos absolutely must implement robust internal controls. Regulators look for very specific, tangible steps here, barring cash-for-cash exchanges above set thresholds, enforcing strict caps on ticket-in and ticket-out redemptions at slot kiosks, and maintaining rigorous Know Your Customer, or KYC protocols, to verify patron identity. The whole shebang also includes continuous suspicious transaction monitoring, thorough record-keeping, and often third-party auditing of the casino's overall compliance program. It is a massive undertaking.
Which brings us to a final provocative thought to leave you with today. As digital iGaming rapidly expands worldwide, will these intense physical barriers to entry evolve into entirely new digital compliance hurdles? We've seen how strictly everything from energy use to indoor air quality is monitored in physical spaces. As the industry shifts more and more online, the ultimate barrier to entry, regulation, is only going to become more complex, more deeply tracked, and constantly shifting. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll see you next time.